Dear colleagues, it's a pleasure to be with you today in this new edition of the Waste Watchers International Report. I'm very happy of our collaboration and how we can move forward and accelerate the process. We need to do a call of action because there is an urgent need to expand and strengthen efforts to individually and collectively to reduce food loss and waste to achieve SDGs 12.3. Food loss and waste is a triple win. It will allow us to have more food available, especially high-value commodities, which will improve access to healthy diets, which today 2.6 billion people don't have access to healthy diets. At the same time, it will improve our use of natural resources and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The SDG 12.3 says that by 2030, half of per capita global food waste at the retail and consumer levels and reduce food losses along the production and the supply chain, including post-harvest losses. We have remained stable in terms of the level of food losses in the world. This is equivalent to 1.25 billion tons of food. This is kind of an inconsistency in a world that we have people that we need to feed, especially in Africa. Hunger still is at very high levels, even higher than before COVID. FAO is moving into a pragmatic and action-oriented initiative. We measure the global index of food loss and waste, but also want to identify losses at the level of the value chain and to bring practical solutions. So as a result, we develop our food loss app, what we call the FLAP, which is a simple data-driven mobile tool to track and analyze food losses across the value chain. It includes a growing global data set, a public good, but helps to understand where, how, and why food losses occur, enabling efficient, targeted action. It's really important because it allows us not only to collect the data, but also allow us to crowdsource information. As we expand, because we are in more than 15 countries in different commodities, we can have better information and bring solutions. One important feature of this app is that it doesn't stop just in telling you the level of losses on your value chain, but also ask about the problems. What are the challenges you believe as a farmer you are facing and why? We are also using artificial intelligence to identify the best possible solutions. And soon we will add a chat box that will allow us to answer specific questions for farmers. So the farmer gets a benefit from this exercise, and we hope that we provide the proper incentives to collect the data. But understand, what this is doing is basically opening this black box so that we really know where things are happening, where the losses are happening, and why, and then try to find a specific solution to those. Waste, on the other side, which is from retail to the consumer side, we have the Global Food Waste Index, 12.3.1b, which is done by UNEP. The UNEP has estimated 1.05 billion tons of food was wasted in households, food services, in retail in 2022. And households, important to note, account for 60% of the food that is wasted globally. That means we need to change behavior. That means that we need to put efforts in behavioral change. Around the world each day, over 1 billion meals are thrown away in households alone. The problem is not necessarily at the restaurant level, the problem is mostly at the household level. For that, we have developed OptiWaste, a tool you can use at home and will help you understand where the major waste is happening. Is this in fruits and vegetables, in cereals, and give you an idea of what is the evolution over time. This tool is also useful for school feeding programs because when food is wasted in a school, means that kids don't like what they are eating. And that's where we need to bring nutritionists to try to change those menus so that we reduce the waste. Today, we reported that we have 673 million people which are chronic undernourished, but also we identified that we have 2.6 billion people that still have not access to healthy diets. So we need to resolve this and we need to move forward. Why? Because food loss and waste represent using inappropriately our natural resources. We know that we use land and water in everything we produce. So if we throw this food, we're losing all those natural resources that today are so scarce. But not only that, we lose also the inputs that we're using. Also, we know that the elimination of food loss and waste creates around 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, not only emissions on the process of production, but also emissions that are generated because of how food is incinerated or destroyed. And that's where our motto is good food for all for today and tomorrow, because the tomorrow is important in terms of use our sustainability, our natural resources. And when we do model simulations on which is the action that creates the biggest impact in terms of having reduction of hunger, the actions that we need to realize is putting in place the right policies, collecting information so that we are not in a black box, so that we know what actions are needed and can prioritize them. But we need to do this in partnerships. And that's why I'm here, because we believe we can work together with Italian universities and you colleagues to try to accelerate the process of collaboration that we have. Why? Because this requires investment, and long investment, but investment that brings returns. Here's where the hand-in-hand initiative is targeting this type of interventions through a territorial approach is to try to bring these investments that really have an effective solution. So colleagues, data, science and innovation, partnerships, and investments of bankable projects that brings a return, not only private, but also a return of sustainability that takes into account the tomorrow is where we need to move. That's where we will have all these wins as a result of reduction of food loss and waste. So let's accelerate this process. I congratulate you for your report, and let's move forward to keep working together and accelerating what we are trying to do, because I believe this is an opportunity that will bring us a significant impact in the future. Thank you very much and have a great day.